If you've ever had a panic attack, you know how unexpected and frightening they can be. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about what happens in a panic attack and why they happen. Hi everyone. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a model of panic attacks, a model for understanding what happens in a panic attack. And this is called the fear of fear model. And it's a key component to being able to manage panic attacks, because once you know what's happening in a panic attack, it can make them seem a lot less scary because you understand what's happening. But before I get into that, just a couple of disclaimers to go over. I'm a registered psychologist in the province of British Columbia, Canada, and this video is for informational purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute or replacement for advice from your doctor or mental health professional. Now, with those things out of the way, let's talk about a model for understanding panic attacks. Now, as I've documented in a previous video, panic attacks are this sudden rush of intense fear or anxiety. And in panic disorder, these panic attacks can come from out of the blue and seem really scary and really frightening for a person, because just suddenly out of the blue, I feel this surge or rush of fear or terror. Now, the key to understanding panic attacks is to recognize that panic attacks are this rush of anxiety, but anxiety in and of itself isn't necessarily a bad thing. See, the anxiety response in people is kind of like your body's early warning sign, the early warning system of danger or threat. And so it's designed to get you activated to either fight the danger or threat or to run away from it. So that's why we call it the fight or flight response. So the metaphor I like to use to explain the anxiety system is to imagine that it's kind of like the smoke detector in your home. And if you think about what the smoke detector does, it's there to alert you when there's fire, when there's danger or threat, in order to get your attention to go do something about whatever's causing the smoke. Now, the problem is, in something like panic disorder, is it's almost like that smoke detector has gotten way too sensitive. So rather than going off when there's a fire causing smoke, the smoke detector is going off every time you make toast. So it's just gotten way too fine-tuned and way too sensitive that it's not actually alerting you to danger or threat. So when I explain panic attacks and what's happening in a panic attack, this fear of fear model, where I'd like to start is to get you to think about what are some of the physical sensations that you experience during a panic attack. And so if you think about the physical sensations, you can probably think about lots of things that physically can happen to you and are physically going on when you have a panic attack. So things like heart palpitations or an accelerated heart rate, or feeling like your heart is kind of pounding out of your chest. People can experience chest pain or tightness, shortness of breath, hyperventilation, almost feeling like you can't get enough air, feelings of dizziness or lightheadedness, numbness or tingling. People can experience numbness or tingling in their hands or arms or across their face. People can experience trembling, shaking, hot flushes, cold flushes, sweating. People can experience this sense of nausea or stomach distress, feeling like I've got to go to the washroom, I've got to go to the bathroom, or feeling like I'm going to throw up, that kind of butterflies in the stomach sensation. And people can experience this sense of blurred vision, almost it almost feels like things around them seem dreamlike or like a soft focus. And to an extreme, people can experience what we call depersonalization or derealization. So depersonalization is this sense of almost feeling like you're outside of your body, whereas derealization, it almost feels like you're detached from what's going on around you. It's like you're watching a movie, but you're in it and you're totally detached from it. Another sensation that people can experience is a sense of choking, or their throat is constricting, like they can't swallow, or like they can't breathe. So you have this cluster of physical sensations that a person can experience in a panic attack. And these sensations can be really, really scary if they come from out of the blue. But what I like to point out when I'm working with my clients and explaining this fear of fear model is that all of these physical sensations are part of the body's alarm reaction. They're all part of this fear, this fight or flight system. And the idea is all of these physical sensations that I just talked about, all of them are actually perfectly adaptive when faced with actual physical threat or danger. So if I'm walking down a path and a bear jumps out at me, all of these physical sensations are going to help me either fight the bear or to run away from it. So let's go through the physical sensations and sort of think about what exactly they can do to help me if I'm face to face with a bear. So the accelerated heart rate, or the heart palpitations, the pounding heart, well, that's designed to get the blood pumping and flowing through my body as quickly as possible, because that blood has got to be pumped to the big muscle groups of my legs or my arms to help me fight or to run away. The shortness of breath, the hyperventilation, that's designed to get oxygen into my body, because I'm going to need that oxygen to burn for fuel in my muscles that are going to be fighting or running away. When that oxygen gets burned for fuel, it creates carbon dioxide, and so I need to breathe that carbon dioxide out. So the faster I can be breathing, the better, because I'm getting the oxygen in and getting the carbon dioxide out. Now, one of the things that can happen with hyperventilation is that it can lead to you actually getting more oxygen into your body than your body's used to, and having less carbon dioxide in your body than your body's used to. And one of the places this can affect is in your brain. So you're actually getting more oxygen to your brain than you're used to, and you're changing the ratio of oxygen to carbon dioxide in your brain. And what this can do is it can lead to this sense of dizziness or lightheadedness. It's not dangerous, but it's just due to the shifting in oxygen and carbon dioxide levels. So that can contribute to that sense of dizzy or lightheadedness. As your body's gearing up for physical activity, the muscles are getting tense, and this muscle tension can lead, at an extreme, can lead to sort of shaking or trembling. Your body's gearing up for physical activity, so it's getting hot. So you can get these hot flushes because you're warming up and your muscles are warming up. And in order to deal with those hot flushes and the excess heat that's being generated, it's natural to start to sweat. And so the sweating actually serves a couple of purposes. The sweating on the surface of the skin, the heat evaporates the sweat, and that can help cool you down to deal with the hot flushes. But also, if you're sweating, it makes the surface of your skin a bit more slippery or slick. And so if a bear is trying to claw at you, it's going to be harder to grab a hold of you because the slipperiness or slickness of the skin. Now, another thing that can happen is this, as the sweat evaporates, it can leave your skin feeling cold. Another reason why people feel this sense of coldness is because there's this redistribution of blood throughout your body when you're faced with danger or threat. So if you think about it, you don't need blood flowing into the surface of your skin. You need blood flowing into those big muscle groups of your arms and of your legs. And so what happens is you get this constriction of blood vessels on the surface of your skin. And so you have less blood flowing to the surface of your skin, and so it can make your skin feel colder. And so this is why when people get really anxious, they can sometimes feel this cold, clammy sensation. The clamminess is the sweat, but the cold is the blood leaving the surface of the skin. Another adaptive feature of the blood leaving the surface of the skin is if you get cut, you're not going to bleed as much because there's less blood on the surface of the skin. Now, another component of this redistribution of blood throughout your body is that your digestive system shuts down. So blood flows away from the stomach and the digestive system because you don't need to be focusing on digesting your lunch. If you're face to face with a bear, what you want to be doing is running away as quickly as possible from the bear so you don't become the bear's lunch. So the digestive system shuts down, and this can lead to that sense of stomach distress. It can lead to that sense of your body just wanting to get rid of anything in the gut system. So this is why people feel they have to go to the bathroom, or why they can feel really nauseous. The numbness and tingling in the surface of the skin, what can happen there? This is partly a side effect of the hyperventilation, but it's also partly a side effect of when faced with danger or threat, what you want to do is you want to increase your sensitivity to touch. And so what can happen is the little hairs on the surface of your skin, they can stand up to become more sensitive. Which is adaptive because you want that sensory information. And I don't know if you've ever experienced this where you feel anxious and almost feels like the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. This is all, again, about becoming more hyper-tuned and hypersensitive to any sensory information that's coming to you. Another thing that will happen in terms of the sensory information is that your pupils will dilate. And the reason why your pupils will dilate is you want to get as much light information as possible. You want your vision to be as bright as possible. So if you're in dark, you can see the danger or the threat. You can see whatever it is that might be attacking you. And so your pupils will dilate to get as much light in as possible. Now, as your pupils dilate, what this can do is it lets in more light than you're used to, and it can lead to this sense of blurred vision or this soft focus sensation that people will sometimes describe. But this can also contribute to that sense of derealization, where it feels almost like things around you don't seem quite real. Because of this soft focus. It's almost like a bit of a dreamlike state. It can also lead to that sense of depersonalization. So pupils dilating in combination with that hyperventilation can lead to that kind of lightheaded, dizzy, but also unreal or out-of-body type of experience. Now, another thing that's happening is your muscles are tensing up because your muscles are gearing up, preparing for physical activity. And as your muscles tense up, it can lead to shaking. It can also lead to a constriction in the muscles around your throat, which it can feel like it's harder to swallow, or it almost feels like your throat's closing in. The other area where it affects is the muscles in your chest get really tight. And so think about what's happening here. The muscles in your chest chest get really tight, but you're also hyperventilating because you're trying to get that air in so quickly. So you're just breathing up into your chest. And so you have a combination of chest breathing, ribs limiting how far your lungs can expand, and muscles being really tight in your chest. This can lead to that sensation of chest pain or chest tightness, almost like an elephant sitting on your chest. And this can be a really scary sensation for people because they feel like they're having a heart attack because they get this sudden onset chest pain as their heart's pounding. So the idea is all of these physical sensations that I talked about in a panic attack, all of them make sense when faced with actual threat or danger. They're all really adaptive. And they're all a sign of increased physical activity, preparing yourself for increased physical activity to fight or to run away. Now, you've probably had some of these physical sensations come up before when you've, say, had a close call while you're driving, right? You're driving, you almost get into an accident, and for the couple minutes after the accident, you notice that your heart's fluttering or beating, or your muscles are tense, or you feel a little bit shaky in your arms or your legs. And that makes perfect sense because you almost got into an accident. And so people don't typically panic in situations like that, but they experience that anxiety, but they know why they're experiencing those anxiety sensations. My heart's racing, my legs and arms are shaky because I almost got into an accident. Another example is you're in the gym and you're having a really, really strong workout, and you're working really hard, and after the workout you feel like your heart's racing, your muscles are kind of shaky, you're sweating, you may even feel nauseous, and you think to yourself, wow, that was a really, really good workout. So you're experiencing a lot of the same physical sensations that you might experience in a panic attack, but you don't panic because you know the physical sensations came because you were working really hard in the gym. So all these physical sensations make sense in the face of real danger or threat. They make sense in situations where you're really physically active. And in those situations, we typically don't experience panic because the physical sensations, there's a reason for them. But imagine what would happen and how you would think if out of the blue you just started to have some of these physical sensations. You just started to notice that your heart's racing, or you're feeling lightheaded, or your muscles are tense, or you experience this intense chest pain. All of these physical sensations, they come up out of the blue. Imagine what you would start to think. Now, we call this the uh-oh reaction. You notice physical sensations and uh-oh. What if this is a heart attack? What if I'm having a stroke? What if I'm dying? What if I pass out or lose control while I'm driving my vehicle and it crashes? What if other people notice that I'm having a panic attack and it's really embarrassing? What if I lose control of myself and I go crazy? These are all really common uh-oh thoughts that people will experience when they're having a panic attack. So I have these physical sensations. I start to think, uh-oh, I'm having a heart attack, I'm having a stroke, I'm going to crash the car, I'm going to pass out, I'm going to embarrass myself, I'm going crazy. Well, imagine if I'm thinking those things, how am I going to feel? What's the emotion that those thoughts are going to bring up? Well, it's going to bring up anxiety. It's really scary to have these types of thoughts. So we start to feel anxious. And so I start to hurry up to try and get out of the situation, to try to get to safety as soon as possible. Or I tense up to prepare myself for whatever's coming. Well, if I'm starting to feel more anxious, I'm hurrying up and tensing up, what do you think that's going to do to the intensity of the physical sensations? Well, they're going to increase. And so now I notice that my heart's starting to beat even faster, or it's even harder to catch my breath, or my muscles are really starting to shake. I think to myself, uh-oh, this is really bad. This is getting worse. I am having a heart attack. I feel more anxious. I tense up. I'm trying to get out of the situation. I'm frantically looking for a way out of the situation. The physical sensations increase. My heart's beating even faster now. I'm starting to sweat. I'm feeling really hot. Oh, goodness, this is the worst thing. It really is happening. I really am having a heart attack. Anxiety. And you spiral. And this is what happens in a panic attack. It's this spiraling of anxiety that's just building on itself. And this is what we call the fear of fear model of panic. So the key to understanding what's going on in a panic attack is that it's not the physical sensations of panic that's causing a person to experience a panic attack. It's how a person thinks about those physical sensations that's causing the panic attack. It's the uh-oh thoughts. Because without those uh-oh thoughts, you're not going to experience the anxiety, the feeling of hurrying up or tensing up. The physical sensations aren't going to increase, and you're not going to spiral. And like I said, you can have these physical reactions, really intense workout, your heart's racing, sweaty, feel nauseous, and you think to yourself, that was a really good workout. Well, if you're thinking to yourself, that's a really good workout, you're not going to feel anxious. And so you're not going to spiral into a panic attack. So panic attacks are not caused by physical sensations of panic. Panic attacks are caused by a catastrophic misinterpretation of normal bodily sensations. It's these uh-oh thoughts, these uh-oh interpretations of the physical sensations that cause a panic attack. And so this model is really, really important to understanding what's going on in a panic attack. And if you can recognize what's happening in a panic attack, it can actually make the panic attack a lot less scary. And it can sometimes even just stop the panic attack from happening. Now, what I'll be doing in subsequent videos is I'm going to be talking about some of the factors that keep panic attacks going in panic disorder, and what are some of the things you might be able to do to try and prevent panic attacks from coming on, or to help deal with panic disorder. So I hope you found this information helpful. I would love to hear your thoughts or comments and ideas about this, so please leave me some comments in the comments section down below. If you're enjoying my videos and would like to see more, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell, and you'll be alerted every week when I post a new video. Thank you for making it all the way to the end of this video, and I will see you in the next one.